Last episode I took over at Wolves and was forced to sell our best defender, got issued a European ultimatum by our best player, lost that player to a long-term injury, signed two potential wonder kids, completely changed our system, suffered an opening day defeat in injury time, before finally getting our first win of the season, and today we're about to make two more, potentially game-changing signings. Now ever since this change in setup from a 5-3-2 across to a more balanced 4-2-3-1, I've got to be honest, it has left us a little bit shallow in attacking areas, and whilst new signing the 17-year-old Rooney Bargi has stepped up in the absence of the now injured Pedro Neto after breaking his elbow, with me changing Matheus Cunha's development plan to be focused on being more of a central attacking midfielder, it has only left me with the now 31-year-old Spaniard Pablo Sarabia to be the man to lead the line for me this season, and as you know from his opening couple of games, he's been pretty anonymous. So with that in mind, I posed the question to you, should I consider recalling the former wonder kid Fabio Silva from his loan spell from Rangers? Should I spend my £37 million budget on a new number 9? Or should I give this man Pablo Sarabia the opportunity to try and stake his claim as a number 1 striker? And you made it abundantly clear to me that you wanted me to spend my budget on a brand new signing. However, it seems like we might have some leaks in the camp because word has got out that I'm looking for a new striker, and here I am, sitting in my office minding my own business when out of nowhere Anthony Martial's agent comes knocking at my door. Hi there, Van Aan here. I was present at the Manchester United match. Whilst everyone was looking at their stars, I glanced upon a forlorn player in the spectator stand with eyes calling out for help. Instead of looking elsewhere, what do we think of a redemption arc up front for Anthony Martial? The Frenchman still has something to prove, I believe, and I spotted that steely eyes of resolve during that match. He will have some French support through Nori and Bellegarde as well. Well, I tell you what, that was something I certainly was not expecting. Anthony Martial on the sidelines at Manchester United looking for a route out, and I tell you what, with him just having 10 months left on his contract, is it such a bad idea? He's 77 rated, entering his prime years, he's 6 foot, and of course he has that all-important Premier League experience. And he's absolutely right with me already having the French-speaking Rayan Aït-Nouri, and of course his fellow countryman, the 25-year-old Frenchman Bellegarde, to help him ease into life in a Wolves shirt. Plus with him only potentially costing me around £8 to £10 million, he certainly would fit into my budget as well. However, once again, when I'm sat in my office just mulling things over, these agents are like buses. You don't see any of them for ages and then two come at once. Hi there, I'm Pat Adams, football agent covering North and South America. Noticed you're in the market for a striker and I have two clients for you. Josh Sargent, hard-working pressing forward that can help score and set up opportunities for Cunha. Second, Marcus Leonardo, untested in Europe but can form a good partnership with Cunha given they're both Brazilians. See, all these agents, they see the money and they come running out sensing a deal. But once again, has he got a very good point? Now, Josh Sargent is someone who I'm not too familiar with, I've got to be honest, and it seems like my scouts are not either, but judging from his base stats, it looks like he could be a pretty decent addition. He's got high attacking work rate and defensive work rate, plus he offers a versatility being able to play up front and on the right hand side of midfield, and with him just being 23 years of age, his best years are ahead of him. And whilst Marcos Leonardo, 3 years his junior, doesn't have the same height nor work rate that potentially Josh Sargent might be able to offer us, knowing how good Benfica are at sourcing some of the best young talent in the Brazilian market, and assuming that he could build up a fairly decent partnership with his Brazilian compatriot Matheus Cunha, once again he's another man who could be a very interesting option for me up front. However, it does seem like I've got even more leaks in the camp because a local news reporter and Wolverhampton Wanderers fan has managed to find out that I've been talking to agents and even has some thoughts of his own. I think some good options that Wolves have signed in real life would be Rodrigo Gomez from Braga and someone you have on your transfer list, Jorgen Strand Larsen from Celta Vigo. They did loan the latter, so maybe try to do a loan deal, and if that doesn't work, possibly sign him just permanently. Love your videos and can't wait to see what you have in store for Wolves. Well, first and foremost, nothing like a reporter trying to get on my good side to get more scoop out of Wolves, but I do really appreciate your feedback. Thank you very much for watching. But they do have a very good point because this man, Rodrigo Gomez, could be a very interesting signing. Versatility to play both on the right and left hand side of midfield, and of course, with the absence of Pedro Neto, and of course with our Portuguese links, it would make sense for him to join Wolverhampton Wanderers. However, when I did look to potentially see what I could get, it looks like he's currently out on loan, so there won't be any opportunity for me to sign him this season. Now, the other interesting shout is this man, Jorgen Strand Larsen. At 6'4", he's a towering, strapping young man. At 23 years of age, he's got his best years ahead of him, and with Wolves signing him in real life, obviously it would be a realistic signing for me. However, whilst I was considering potentially bringing him in Season 2, it seems like there are an overwhelming majority of you that actually want me to bring him into the club in Season 1. And whilst in this career mode, Celta Vigo were unwilling to let him depart on loan, wanting an upfront transfer fee, I have decided to bite the bullet and go with all of your recommendations. And so that is why, after scoring 13 goals in 37 appearances for Celta Vigo last season and moving to Wolves in real life, he's impressed me enough to do the exact same thing here in this career mode today, as we welcome our third signing of the summer It's the Norwegian youngster, Jord Strand Larsen, for a fee of £13.7 million. It's a signing that I am very comfortable with, and I think he's got all the attributes necessary to be a real success here at Wolverhampton Wanderers. However, with him only coming in at 76 rated and assuming a rotational squad role position, plus with his small fee still leaving me with £21 million left to spend in my budget, I almost feel like we've got room for one more signing. Now, I mentioned at the beginning of the episode that Pablo Sarabia has the versatility to play out wide on the right-hand side in my midfield, and with me just not having the confidence in him to be the man to lead the line for me this season, I'm going to change up his training and development plan to be focused on being a right winger. It gives me more experience in that area of the park, plus it also gives a little bit more depth in that area in the absence of Pedro Neto. But now, with just Jørgen Strand Larsen being the only recognised striker at the club, it leaves me in the exact same position I was in. So once again, I actually think it's time to look for our second striking signing of the summer. And after once again conversing with some of the best scouts that I've got at the club, I think I've got an answer as to who's going to be the man to fill that role. De Linger of Toulouse has already been mentioned as a solid backup or first choice option up front. I do think it would be silly not to invest in a player with clear potential to be a first team player at Wolves, especially considering how impotent Sarabia has been. Now, De Linger is a man that one of my top scouts has been recommending for me to sign for quite some time now, and finally I think it is time to bring him to Wolverhampton Wanderers. Yet again, he's another up and coming talent in European football, having got into double figures for Toulouse out in League One, and it's finally time to try and test himself at Premier League level. That is right, it's time to say welcome to De Linger for £17 million. Similar to Larsen, being the same age and also coming in on a rotational squad role position, I think he can be the perfect man to compete for that starting spot alongside the Norwegian this season. The biggest question is, though, with Sarabia potentially moving out to the right-hand side of midfield, which of those two is going to be the man to replace him up front? And with Everton up next, as our very first game of this episode, it's time for me to make a big decision. And as you can see, I've decided to go with the Dutchman, De Linger, the big towering man I'm hoping can be a towering figure up front, and I'm also hoping that I can use the pace of Larsen off the bench to give us something a little bit different. As you can also see, Bargy retains his place on the right-hand side of midfield after a couple of really decent performances in his first season as a Wolves player. So here we go then, it's Gomez to get us kicked off and plays it out to Semedo, and hopefully it is going to be a first touch of the ball for that man Bargy, and it's going to be a first touch of the ball for this man De Linger running the channels, trying to see if he can find an option of Cunha in the box, who just dragged it wide with his left. Good start. It's Hwang though now who has it on the left-hand side, plays it into Lemina, Lemina into Gomez, Gomez into Cunha, Cunha looks for the ball through into De Linger, he's just held off by Nathan Patterson, but he tried his best to try and bundle his way through, just got a little bit unlucky there, did the Dutchman. It's Jack Harrison now to turn it around the corner into Dominic Calvert-Lewin, tried to hold the ball up, and my other new signing, Mika Marco, with some really good defending, and now Cunha's come deep to collect the ball, and he's played it into De Linger. De Linger tried to play it around the corner, he still managed to keep hold of it though, plays it into Cunha once again, Cunha across the box, this time there's no one in there, but I did look for the back post, just couldn't get on the end of it, but it's been a really good start so far in the opening 20 minutes here for Wolves. Ain't Nori now, into Gomez, into Cunha, Cunha around the corner, into Bargy, Bargy into the box, looking for the ball across into De Linger, it's too easy into Pickford though. It's Hwang now for Wolves, looking for a ball down the channel into De Linger, took it on really well, tries to strike it, it's blocked off by the Everton defence, Bargy trying to hustle his way through, doesn't manage to reach it, but it's been all Wolves so far. Jack Harrison loses it to Ain't Nori, we are just absolutely relentless with the presses so far. It's Cunha now, Cunha tried to play it into De Linger, but it's just held up, and yet again Everton somehow managed to clear their lines. So it's Dominic Calvert-Lewin now with Everton's first foray into our half, he cuts it back into Dwight McNeil on the left-hand side, but Bueno comes across, gives away a foul in the process though. It's a free kick that Dwight McNeil is going to be the man to take. He's just going to try and lift this one into the box, looking for the big head of Dwight McNeil. Bueno though, the man who gave away the free kick, won the header. It's cleared away only as far as Jack Harrison, but De Linger was the man who got to it first, and now Rooney Bargy can accelerate away, looks for Hwang down this left-hand side. The young man can try and see if he can streak away from the Everton defenders. De Linger in, combines with Cunha. Cunha shapes it up on his right, and he's just muscled off of it in the end. Inches away, that would have been a sensational counter-attack, but Gomez has managed to wriggle away from a challenge into Rooney Bargy. Shifts it onto his left, cuts it short into De Linger, into the box. He's looking for the cutback, finds the cutback into Gomez. Corner. Well, I tell you what, the Dutchman may not have a goal, but he's been so heavily involved here inside the opening 45 minutes. He's going to look to try and see if he can get that goal. It's thrown in. Mika Marmol can't get his head on it. Hwang tries to. It's cleared away as the referee blows for half-time. Well, it was an exhilarating game of football in the opening 45. We were so close to getting the opener, but unfortunately it just didn't come. But De Linger's been really impressive on his debut, and he's got to try and hope if he can keep that up here in the second 45 as Bargy now just tried to lift it into the box. Mikalenko got there ahead of him though, good defending. But Bargy wins it back though in a really good position. He's going to try and see if he can float it into Hwang at the back post. It's a good ball in. over the top from Hwang. Nelson Semedo now brings it forward into Kuno. Once again round the corner for Bargy, who's unmarked on this right-hand side and just storms into the box here. Lovely play from the young man into Dalinga. Oh my word, so close to a goal on his debut. Brilliant play, brilliant combination by my three attacking players as Bargy will take the corner, throws it in, looking for Hwang, falls out to Bueno. Bueno on the volley, blocked. Hwang once again. Pickford, what a save. Well, we are just knocking at this Everton door, but we just cannot seem to find a way through. And with it still being 0-0, it is anyone's to win here as they turn round, play it into Andre Gomez. Gomez, though, is blocked off by his namesake Gomez. Falls to King, though. Out to Patterson. Patterson tries to go past Aït-Nouri. Really good defending once again. And once again, we get the ball clear. And this time it's Hwang down this left-hand side, looking for the run of Darlinga into the box. That's a lovely ball into the channel. Darlinga to take it on first time. Oh, my goodness. That is absolutely sensational. What a way to open the account here today. And what a way to open your Wolves account on your debut. Darlinga, take a bow and celebrate. You deserve it, my friend. Well, it's epic scouting once again to identify a fabulous talent across Europe. And welcome to Wolverhampton Wanderers. What a way to introduce yourself to the travelling Wolves fans. Took his finish with perfection. 1-0. Now, immediately after we score, you're probably sat here thinking, why on earth is he showing us a replay here? Well, I've got to be honest, I am incredibly sorry because my controller decided to completely die on me. And as you can see, Everton decided just to totally waltz through my defence and easily, with absolutely no challenges whatsoever, give the ball to Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who smashed it into the back of the net. And frustratingly for me, after all the hard work, they've got themselves back on level terms. Bit of a frustrating way to concede an equaliser, it must be said, especially after all the hard work that we put ourselves through to get us into that position. And just like that, as you can see, all of a sudden now, Everton seem to have their tails up and we can't seem to string any passes together. But look at this, Darlinga though wins it back in a really good position. What options has he got up ahead of him? He can't pass it past Keane. And now look at this, Everton flooding men forward. It's Jack Harrison out to Patterson on the right hand side. We've got to make sure that we do not throw this game away here. The right back looking to try and play it in. He manages to get past Aït-Nouri, does play it into the box, but fortunately enough Semedo's able to clear his lines. Only out as far as Mikalenko though, who picks up the scraps, looking to try and see if he can float it in. Bargy is in the way though. It's Danjuma though for Everton, deep in the stoppage time, manages to wriggle away from a couple of challenges. My word, that was an incredible match saving save there from Jose Sarr as the referee blows for full time. Well, it's disappointment on the faces of the Wolves players and I can totally understand their frustrations. A technical error on my part means that the 3 points are ripped away from them right at the death, and unfortunately it's not a winning debut for Dalinga as it finishes here at full time, 1-1. A frustrating way to end what was turning out to be a really good game, but for me we've just got to take the positive from it. This man on his debut was absolutely sensational from start to finish. He terrorised the Everton backline and got a goal for his troubles. Really good start to life in a Wolves shirt. And whilst due to that good performance, Jorgen Strands Larsen may not have been able to get on the pitch, but I'm sure the time will come for the young Norwegian. Speaking of young players though, I soon realised that actually in episode 1 I didn't pay any attention to my youth academy, and as you can see at the moment I've got someone potentially at age 17, Matic Oman, who could well be a superstar in the making. I'm going to try and see if I can get him on the right training and development plan to improve his development that much further. He's certainly a young man to look out for as the career mode progresses, but with me wanting to make sure that I'm not left behind, of course I'm going to turn to my youth scouts to try and see if they can scour Europe for some of the best young talent. And whilst I'm obviously going to look to England for the next few months, plus with a couple of French speaking players in the team, look to see if I can bring in any more French talents. With the club having such heavy links to Portugal, of course it makes sense for me to try and see if I can send a scout there to uncover the very next Cristiano Ronaldo. So that's all my network set up. Let's see over the course of the next couple of episodes what sort of players they unveil. But now though, with the summer transfer window slamming shut, it's time once again to turn our attention back to the football, starting off with a 0-0 draw away from home against Crystal Palace, followed up with an unfortunate 3-2 loss at home to Liverpool, and it's another draw this time away from home against Luton Town. But after getting back in the win column, knocking Crystal Palace out of the Carabao Cup 4-2, it really does feel like momentum is back on our side, and that is why I am rallying the troops at the Molineux ahead of what is going to be a titanic clash against the reigning Premier League champions, Manchester City. It's the first time this season that we've got the opportunity to really test ourselves against the very best in the Premier League to see what some of these new signings are going to bring to Wolverhampton Wanderers. It's the same starting 11 that played so well against Everton up until that unfortunate technical error. Let's hope that they can do the exact same thing here today against City. It's going to be Aït-Nouri who's going to take the throw here, gives it to Lamina, and immediately we are on the front foot as Lamina tries to wriggle away from 1, 2, 3 challenges, and now Gomez to bring this one forward. He's going to look for Semedo out wide on the right hand side, going to whip a first time ball in, finds Kunna on the volley, forces Ederson to flap at that one. What on earth was the goalkeeper doing? Made a real hash of it. and Manchester City just about clear their lines. Bargy picks up the scraps though, once again getting involved and once again trying to drive down this left-hand side, almost taken out there by Jack Grealish. But once again, the referee not giving anything. Into Gomez. Really positive start here for Wolverhampton Wanderers as Lemina tries to line up a strike. In the end, it goes wide. Gvardiol for City to bring it out, though. Cunha can't track him well enough, and now Haaland has it. Haaland tries to go past Bueno. Really good defending. That's exactly what you want to see in Mika Marmo. Cool, calm, composed. Just managed to just slice it through, and now Hwang can try and see if he can drive down this left-hand side. Held up by Rico Lewis, though. Kevin De Bruyne. Manchester City just starting. About 20 minutes on the clock to assert themselves here in this game. The flood of early chances for Wolves have suddenly dried up here, and Gvardiol right on the edge of the box plays a lovely ball into Matthijs Nunes. He just gets his wires mixed up. He got his feet all tangled, and fortunately enough for me, we're just able to clear our lines. Mika Marmo, though, out to Aït-Nouri, who's been fairly quiet so far, but that's a lovely turn away from the Manchester City press, and now feeds in a ball to Hwang. Hwang has an option on the left-hand side of Aït-Nouri, and he uses it, and Aït-Nouri now to drive down this left-hand side. I'm going to try and see if I can find a ball into Dalinga. Don't find one, but I do find a corner. It's going to be one that Bargy is going to take here. The number 9 is going to just float this one into the penalty spot. Looking for Mika Marmo, another new signing. Doesn't manage to get his head on it. Cleared away, though, only as far as the left back. Aït-Nouri tries an audacious strike from outside of the box, about 30 yards out. Ederson forced into a very smart save. Out to Kevin De Bruyne, floats it across to Gvardiol on the left-hand side. Really nicely taken down, and the left back tries to go past Semedo, but really good challenge, and Semedo feeds it into Dalinga. Just can't get past Akanji, the Swiss international. Absolutely standing firm there, but Rooney Bargy tried to win it back, goes off for a throw. Gvardiol with the throw into Jack Grealish, and Jack Grealish goes right the way back into his own half here, but O'Reilly turns it back into Kevin De Bruyne, coming deep to try and see if he can get himself involved in this play, and he's done just that, and he's fed it into Matthijs Nunes, but Semedo once again winning the ball back and feeding in Bargy on this right-hand side. Another young man has acres of space to run into here, but decides to cut infield. He's got the option of Dalinga. If he can find him, he can. Dalinga should have taken, he should have scored, sorry. It keeps it alive, though, into Cunha on his left. The ball is bouncing around like a pinball. Bargy has it now, into Cunha on his left. It's just blocked off. How on earth have we not managed to find the back of the net there? Well, we start the second half with the biggest chance of the game missed. Dalinga, you've been absolutely brilliant since signing in the summer, but that was the biggest chance, arguably, of your career that you've completely missed at the highest stage against the best opposition. Perhaps just a little bit of an inexperience just showing through there. Mika Marmo, short into Cunha, who's come very deep to try and get himself involved in the play, but he's managed to find a bit of space here for Gomez. Gomez tries to get away from the challenge of the Manchester City press, but Kevin De Bruyne intercepts really well into Haaland, who's been pretty dangerous, and Semedo picks up the scraps, though. Really poor from City. Passing-wise, they've really not been at the races so far, which is not what you often hear, as Cunha manages to find a real nice pocket of space, but then runs into trouble. The ball was on there out wide to Hwang, but he couldn't find him, and now Haaland to streak down this right-hand side. Doesn't have any options centre, though, so has to play it back into the path of Rico Lewis at the moment. Bit of a tentative start here at the beginning of the second half. Kevin De Bruyne, though, comes across, tries to see if he can get away from the challenge. It's Matthijs Nunes into the box here, back to Kevin De Bruyne. O'Reilly blocked off by Semedo. Living life on the edge here. City starting to turn the screw. Dalinga to bring it away. Really good attacking play there, and Hwang now plays it back into the path of the young Dutchman, who's going to go one-on-one with Ruben Diaz. It's been a real ding-dong battle between the two of them so far. He's done enough. Has Ruben Diaz with a good challenge. And with about 20 minutes on the clock here, I think it's time for a change. So it is finally time for the new man Larsson to show what he can do in a Wolves shirt. He comes on for Dalinga. He's got 20 minutes here to show the Wolves fans that he's good enough for a starting spot. Gomez, though, has it. Looking for a run. Looking for Larsson. Manages to find Larsson, and he holds the ball up really well. Takes it out to the left-hand side. Plays it to Hwang. We've got men up in numbers here. It's played back to Aït-Nouri. Aït-Nouri, the ball was on to Hwang. It was the wrong decision from the young left-back, and once again, an attack breaks down. There's Rodrigo here for City. We are deep into the last 10 minutes of this game. Any teams to win here. Rodrigo right on the edge of the box, looking up to try and see if he can find a cross in, but he doesn't. Instead, plays it back to Phil Foden. Phil Foden in the box, into Erling Haaland. Erling Haaland turns, finds Kevin De Bruyne, can't quite find the space. It's Phil Foden once again, though, just a ghost into the penalty area. I'm trying to hold him up as best as I can. Brilliant defending from Marmo. In the end, Kevin De Bruyne with the strike. My word, both he and Jose Sarr throwing their bodies on the line to keep that out of the back of the net. Kevin De Bruyne will take the resulting corner, takes it short. Rooney Bargy, though, with a challenge on the other youngster, Phil Foden. Grealish blocked off by Semedo. We've got a couple of minutes left to hold firm here. Semedo goes and gives the ball away to Phil Foden in a really dangerous position. It's played across to Rodri. What a save. And look how much it means to them. That was such an important save from Jose Sarr, and the defenders know it. Corner, though, for Phil Foden. We are into stoppage time here. We've got to try and hold on for what will be a huge draw and a huge result against against the reigning Premier League champions. Norwich tries to clear it. It falls to Kevin De Bruyne. I do not believe it. The Belgian, in the dying seconds, once again has scored, this time for the other Manchester club in Man City. And just like the opening game of the season, we've gone and thrown it away in stoppage time. I thought we'd done enough. I thought defensively we were resilient enough, but we just couldn't clear our lines. And the relentless onslaught for Manchester City was just too much for us to bear. Kevin De Bruyne showing his class right at the death. I'm furious. 1-0 City. Well, that man Kevin De Bruyne, the captain now of Manchester City, will take the plaudits, and rightly so, because his goal right at the end is the difference. It finishes 1-0. That's another really hard one to take, and it leaves us without a win in our last 5 games in the Premier League. We're down to 13th, which I guess could be expected for a team of our quality, but once again I can't help feel that was a huge opportunity missed. These players played some wonderful football, especially in the opening 45 minutes, but are we really showing that lack of quality and cutting edge in the final third? And how much are we missing this man Pedro Neto? Dalinga will be absolutely devastated. He had the opportunity to put us in the lead and he didn't take it, but he's still young. He's still been very impressive in his opening few games in a Wolves shirt, and I'm hoping that he can put that one behind him. As for that game though, it is going to be the final one of this episode as we bring an end to episode 2 here on this Wolves career mode. I hope you've enjoyed this episode as much as I have. Thank you once again for all your suggestions. I really do appreciate it, and hopefully I'll see you next time.